Hey folks, what's up? This is Adam here. I can't see the guy. Welcome to the Movie Vault. Right, we've come into the end now of this little collection that I've got of the Nightmare on Elm Street Bob's collection, the 7 original Nightmares on Blu-ray, which is the first Nightmare on Elm Street, the second one, Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, Part 5, The Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and of course the one which I'm reviewing right now, Wes Cravens New Nightmare, which came in the year of 1994. Of course, it's like the 10-year anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one came out in the year of 1984. So this movie, Wes Cravens New Nightmare, came out in 1994. And I like this movie, Wes Cravens New Nightmare. I thought it was really well done, and I thought it told a fantastic story. It's not one of those nightmare films that gives a huge body count, though, because I don't think they really focused on that side of the deal. But nevertheless, this movie, in my opinion, I thought had a good turn to it. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare wasn't a flop, but it did make a little bit of money, not as much as I wanted to, but it wasn't a complete flop. So they wanted to make another Nightmare movie. Okay, but Freddy's dead now, so how are we going to continue the story? What's so great about this movie is that Wes Craven comes back, so does Heather Langenkamp, so does Robert Englund. Who else comes back for this movie? John Saxon, who played Nancy's father. And we also get, who else do we get? Robert Shea. He also comes back for this movie as well. And what's so great about this movie is that they're all playing themselves, you know, along with the characters. Because Robert Englund does play Freddy Krueger in this movie. Heather Langenkamp does play Nancy in some sort of capacity. But mainly they're just playing themselves. You know, and there's a few sequences in this movie which I thought really stood out. I mean, basically, the film opens up, you know, we're working on the Freddy glove, and something goes wrong with the making, and the Freddy glove comes to life and starts killing people. Meanwhile, Heather Langenkamp is living in her home. You know, she's got a son named Dylan, and she's now married to her husband. What was brave of Heather in this movie is the fact that she used to get stalked by a stalker in real life, and then we decided to use that little real life stuff, you know, in this movie, because the scenes, you know, where she's getting frightening phone calls from a stalker, while at the same time the son Dylan is acting oddly. You know, he's getting these seizures. He keeps on rewatching all the horror movies that his mother took part in, you know, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Okay. And basically what we're doing in this movie is we're watching a movie where, because later on in this movie, where Robert Englund and Robert Shea are communicating, particularly Robert Shea and Heather Langenkamp, when they're communicating, and Robert Shea says, "Will you play Nancy one last time?" You can actually see a computer screen with all the lines of dialogue that they're actually saying, and then it says go blank, and then it goes blank. So we're watching a movie that's already been made, but it's like as though they're making it while we're watching it, if that makes sense. So I thought that was really interesting, a nice little turn. But in terms of body count, you don't get much of a body count in this movie. Yes, you get Heather Langenkamp's husband who gets killed, where he's driving a car. Freddy's glove comes out from the seat, scratches his crotch a little bit, but then he ends up getting in a car accident and he dies because he gets stabbed. Okay. But Los Angeles again, all these earthquakes, which they did in real life. But there's that little mystery about, is Freddy really dead, because of all the terms that are happening, all the bad things that are happening in Heather Langenkamp's life. But Dylan is acting oddly, you know, he likes all the horror stories. He's got a little teddy bear dinosaur, you know, which he really keeps holding close for comfort, you know. You know, and throughout this movie, we get this new Freddy. I mean, the new Freddy is given like a whole new makeover in this movie. He like wears this long coat and this greenish copper colour hat, and instead of like having a burnt face, he's got like a fleshy, skinless face, which I thought was a great look. I've got nothing up against the new Freddy look. Of course, I preferred the burnt Freddy look, but this one was a nice look also. It was like a brand new, fresh Freddy, you know, wearing fresh clothes, you know, cleaner clothes, you know. So, and I thought it fitted really well. I thought every actor did a good job in this movie. I mean, especially Heather Langenkamp. It was nice to see Heather Langenkamp come back. And I'd have to say, in this movie, this was like her best performance. I really like her in part one, in the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie in 1984. In regards to the Dream Warriors, I thought she had less to do when she got killed off, like, weekly, when John Saxon was appearing in front of her when he was Freddy in disguise and killed her off, and I thought it was a bit of a lame way to go out. And but apart from that, everyone was enjoying themselves in this movie. I mean, Wes Craven did a really good idea of this movie, and seeing him come back was like icing on the cake, for him to see him playing himself in this movie. I mean, this was before he did the Scream movies, and the Scream movies, I like the Scream movies, but I like the first one, which is a standalone movie. Scream 2, I'm like, I didn't care for Scream 3 or the rest of them, In my opinion, Scream 1 is like the only best movie in the whole franchise, and you didn't need to make all those unnecessary sequels. The choice of settings in this movie, I like the hospital scene, where Dylan's taken to the mental hospital and he freaks out even more. The babysitter gets killed on the ceiling, where Freddy's got up against the ceiling and he's like killing her, making her bleed like a good pig, So that was a good gory scene. I love the highway scene, where Dylan's been led by Freddy. Kind of looked like how he was leading, what's his name, Philip, like a puppet in the Dream Warriors. But he was leading Dylan, through a highway and all the traffic's coming, and Heather Langenkamp was chasing after his son. And I like the way the truck did like a skid turn and how he just missed the people, the victims. So I thought that was really, really, really well planned out. I'd have to say the worst effect of this movie was when Heather Langenkamp was going to hell and she was falling down the waterfall. They could have cut that scene out. But apart from that, I like everything. I mean, I like the Freddy dialogue. Gonna eat you up and miss me, Like the dialogue from Freddy, So, it's a good story told about how all these mysterious things are happening. There's evil within the films, and Freddy's come back in a new, refreshing form. Nancy has to play, Heather Langenkamp has to play Nancy one last time in order to beat Freddy. And, it was good how Robert Englund was portraying himself in this movie. There's that scene, where he's painting a Freddy, but like in a newer form, but he's freaking out like having nightmares. I love the playground scene, where Heather Langenkamp and John Saxon have that communication. And there's that freak out scene, where Dylan nearly falls off that trampoline. It's not a trampoline. It's sort of like a cage where kids play on in the playground. How he falls off. So some good suspense scenes. Is this movie one of the better ones in the franchise? I'd say so. I mean, if Wes Craven is taking part in this, Wes Craven's no longer with us, God bless his soul. But if you know that he's going to actually play a part in the movie, it's going to be something special. I mean, like I say, he was approached about this movie about an idea, what would you do for like the 10-year anniversary of Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and he came up with this idea. I mean, he directed this movie, he also written it. What else can I say about this movie? Made $19.8 million at the box office with an $8 million budget. And it's much more longer than all the other Nightmare films as well. This movie's on for 112 minutes. And the official release date was October 14th of 1994, distributed by New Line Cinema. One thing I really must recommend, I'm going to say this at the end of every Nightmare on Elm Street film, is that you really should check out the special features. I mean, the commentary of Wes Craven was really interesting in this movie about how he talks the movie, how they came up with the idea of making Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So the commentary by Wes Craven was really interesting. There was 5 features: becoming the filmmaker, and the same term, the problem with the sequels, and Two Worlds, and the trailer. So he does actually go into detail about the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Going into detail about what the problems were with some of those sequels and how they didn't turn out, and how some of them, although they made money, they didn't turn out exactly how he wanted them to turn out. So we also get 2 episodes from Freddy's Nightmares, the TV series. I mean, I used to watch those TV series a lot when I was a kid. I mean, they didn't do so well. I mean, they stopped making the TV series because Freddy didn't really have a lot to do in those TV series. I mean, he did like the introductions of the episodes, and then you would not see Freddy ever again. It was like these nightmare episodes where Freddy would do the introduction, and then you didn't see Freddy ever again, which was quite a shame. I mean, I wish he took part in the nightmares a little bit more. But they've got 2 episodes of that. Um, there's photo galleries. Again, more interviews of some of the cast members, which are really interesting. And that's basically it for the special features. I would love to have seen more, but there is a disc 5 about over 3 hours of special features, so that's on disc 5, by the way. Let's have a quick look at this. Like I say, all the Nightmare films here. One thing I must really say is that if you're planning on watching these movies on Blu-ray, they really are a nice little watch. Again, but Wes Cravens New Nightmare, if I remember it standing there, if you can take a look at the cover right now, which is the one right next to me here, I remember seeing that on VHS cover in Blockbuster years ago. It was one of the movies that stood out as Freddy, with like the skinless head and the metal glove, I thought it really looked unique. So, but anyway, that's my review, everybody. Short, short and sweet, but like I said, there's not much to say about New Nightmare other than it's a nice little story, really well put together. Wes Craven really made it icing on the cake for making all these characters come back and play themselves. Again, I like that little dialogue bit, where they're communicating Heather Langenkamp and Wes Craven, and it's all on computer screen of all the speeches and all the dialogue that they're saying, and then cuts to blank screen, when the screen goes blank. So it's like as though the movie's been made as we were watching it. I love the Freddy appreciation, where Freddy's on stage and like he's like waving his gloves like that, and the glows go through the gloves, and Heather Langenkamp's looking at Freddy thinking something's not right. There's still evil within, and he needs to be stopped. I thought the kid Dylan did a good job. I thought he did a fine job. I mean, there was a scene in this movie where he really freaked out in this movie, and I was told there was a little bit of a cruel scene in this movie where I could be wrong about this, but did they actually tell that kid who played Dylan that his mum died in real life? Did they actually tell him that his mum died in real life just to get him to freak out like that for camera? Just goes to show how cruel Hollywood can be, but if they did, damn them to hell, you know what I mean? But apparently they only did that just to make him freak out, so they make a freak out realistic freaking out scene for the movie, But apparently, from what I read in interviews, they really told him that his mum died in real life just so they get him to freak out like that. Bit cruel, to tell a kid at that age that his mum just died just so they can get him to do a reaction for a movie. But Hollywood's cruel sometimes. But anyway, everyone, thanks for watching this review, and email me if you've got any questions. And again, I've really enjoyed reviewing the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. In terms of ranking, I would have to say I like 1 and number 3 equally. I like number 2. 3 is the most fun one in the franchise. Number 4, I do not like at first, but I took a liking into it as time went on. Number 5, I don't like. Freddy's Dead, I know nobody likes that movie. It's the most goofiest one, and I agree with that, but I get fun out of it, and I really did enjoy this one. So it's really just number 5 that I just didn't really care for. Well, thanks for watching this, everybody, and please drop me any comments below. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.